Hello and welcome back to the Peter Hallman Ball Yard in Kitchener, Ontario, site of the 2018 ISC World Tournament. Getting set for Game 65, and it's an all-Kitchener affair with the Hallman Cubs taking on the Hallman Twins. Elimination game. Lance Wynn alongside Joe Todd. Thanks for joining us here as we're just about set to go and get this one underway, and we'll set the batting order for you for the visitors, and that's the Cubs. It'll be Alan Piquet to lead things off, followed by Colin Walsh. Juan Zara bats in the third spot. Himo Mata bats cleanup. Blake Underwood is in the fifth spot. Dan Mitchell bats sixth. Bob Gillow, the veteran, bats seventh. Matt Lyon, also the veteran, bats eighth. And Adam Hiller round out the nine for the Cubs. Defensively, of course, for the Hallman Twins, it's Jonathan Lynch out in left, Tio Migliavaca in center, and Jeff Novacek in right. Derek Mason on the hot corner, Ian Fearman, a mainstay at short. Brandon Horn, of course, a guy that needs no introduction at second. Steve Lally Malali will be manning first base, and Ryan Boland will be catching for who else but Sean Cleary. And, you know, Joe, when you look at the battery of Cleary and Boland, these are two guys that are very familiar with each other.
Exactly. They know each other. They met two tournaments ago, actually, in the ASA tournament. So I'm pretty sure that they crossed paths twice at least this year.
So the battery goes to work on Piquet. That pitch in there for a called strike, and that will run the count full, 3-2. So, of course, the winner of this game advances, lives to see another day. The loser, well, they're already home, so not too far to go. I'm sure they'd prefer to be on the diamond naturally. As Cleary goes back to work, outside corner for a called strike, and my mistake, it wasn't a full count, but it is now. So two teams very familiar. If you look at this lineup and you look at the Cubs lineup, boy oh boy, a lot of crossover over the years. Guys that have been teammates, and now on the other side as Cleary tried to work that same outside corner, didn't get the call, and Piquet down with the leadoff walk.
Well, we'll see if the Cubs can recover from that 7-2 loss put on the board just last night for the New York Gremlins. The Hallman Twins lost their game Tuesday night to the Circle Tap Dukes by a 2-0 margin.
Boy, those Circle Tap Dukes have been slaying the Giants as they come. Of course, a win over Hill United, that a couple days ago, and hence the reason the Chiefs will be in action following this game against the J&B Bombers.
Colin Walsh having a big tournament, 7 for 14 with 4 RBIs.
So Walsh will be needed here if the Cubs are going to beat these Twins, as he squares and can't get that between the lines. You know, Joe, the art of bunting, and I don't know, are you off the bunt, you on the bunt? I'm not sure where you stand, but you know as well as I do, you have to be fully committed. It's either a sack bunt or you're bunting for a base hit. There's no in between.
Yes, and right in this situation right now, early in the game, I think I give the green light to Colin Walsh to swing with his hot bat.
That's twice in a row. You're crazy. I say you bunt him over and put some pressure on the D. That's just me. Of course, you've been coaching a lot longer than I have. Well, actually, I've never coached. So runner goes, and in there with a stolen base is Piquet. So we were talking in a couple of telecasts ago about how the trend has changed from guys squaring the bunt and moving the runner. Runners are trying to steal bases now. And we saw a case in point there with Piquet. And really, he swiped that bag on his own. There was really no chance to get him.
Good wheels going down that line by Picard.
So Colin Walsh now with a runner in scoring position and a 2-1 count. We are just underway here. Second batter of this ball game. Cleary, as we know, very deliberate in that circle as he bounces that one in. Good hands back there by Boland as he put the glove back behind his legs to stop that ball from hitting the backstop, and you know Piquet would have been standing down at third base. So an early opportunity for the Cubs. best you get to Cleary early rather than later. He gets stronger as the game goes, and going to see if he held that up, and yes, he did. So back-to-back walks from Cleary, and there are 2 men aboard now for Juan Zara. And regardless of how good a pitcher you are, Joe, you walk the 2 leadoff guys, you're putting some pressure on your defense.
He's just asking for trouble here. Sean Cleary with 21 to third innings of work, 9 walks, 43 strikeouts.
So Cleary, though, a notoriously slow starter, and he's the guy they say if you're going to get to him, do it early. As squaring the bunt, but a half-hearted attempt was Zara. And he's looking at a 0-1 count.
Zara just didn't have that bat level. Almost had the bat pointed down.
Well, that goes back to you got to want to do it, Joe. You got to give up yourself and get in a good position to square properly, as Cleary and Bolin appear to need to have a quick conversation just to get on the same page. And that's exactly what it is. Quick. Good crowd on hand here, Joe, and of course expected to get even busier as this day goes on.
Well, in essence, these are the 2 host teams of the tournament.
And had a notion, see if he held it up, and yes, he did. So Zara still alive here in the count, but I guess that's a called strike. We'll have to double check that. No, it's not. 1 ball, 1 strike to count.
Cubs have to take advantage of this situation. Just as you stated, you're going to get to Cleary, you got to get him early.
Good off-speed pitch from Cleary, as swinging through it was Zara. So a good time for that. And we'll see if Cleary can close the door with the count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Zara, that number 3 batter, and Himulmata being called upon to drive in some runs.
And chase the rise ball out of the zone. So first strikeout of the ball game for Sean Cleary. And it comes at a very opportune time, as now the cleanup hitter and Himulmata will step in with his first look at Cleary. And if you don't know about this kid, he's got tools. He can throw and he can hit. Not quite sure which one he does better.
Himulmata 7 for 14, 2 home runs and 8 RBIs.
Including a walk-off grand slam earlier this week. So Mata has been a force at the dish, as you can see. Pulled the head out on that and swung through for strike 1. And these usually are the kind of hitters that Cleary really likes. He's very deliberate. He takes a lot of time. If you're anxious up there, he's going to make you wait. And you can see Cleary take a long time to take that sign.
He loves the challenge.
And almost left one right in the wheelhouse for Mata as he fouled that one straight back. So now behind in the count 0-2 is Mata. And if you're Cleary, Joe, and you're the manager, what sign are you giving?
Right now, I think I'd probably come back with a rise ball a little bit out of the strike zone.
I agree. I like that thought. Climb that ladder, see if he'll chase something. You can see he's very anxious up there. I would say that, or go with a drop ball inner half of the plate. Problem is, if you miss with that, your head will be twisting because that ball will be going the other way. Fast and hard. And again, climbs that ladder with a rise ball. So good call, Joe. Apparently you know something about the game for sure. And the count now 1-2. So I believe it's 2-2 if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
You know, sometimes
this
my
is the
counter's
pitch.
off, Joe. You know, I have counter. My counter's a little weak. So you're right.
It's Friday. It's a long week.
That's right. That's right. A little extra time came with that drop ball down and in. Didn't get Mata to fish for it, and he runs the count now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I think it's just a 2-2. We don't see a full sign.
No, I don't see a full sign either from our home plate umpire, so you're right. Let's go with the 2-2.
Ed Otterman, our home plate umpire.
Oh, well, you better grab the umbrella if it's Otterman. I know he always appreciates that. Swing and a miss, so came back with the drop ball inside. So Cleary wins that battle. Back-to-back strikeouts, first 2 of the ball game, and it'll be Blake Underwood now, the right fielder, with a chance here to open the scoring with a hit.
Blake Underwood 4 for 13 with 4 RBIs, so he always loves that spot, batting out that 5 hole.
Get a lot of RBI chances in that 5 spot.
Saw Blake at the check-in time at our motel and told me that he only had about 20 at-bats before coming into this tournament. He hurt his wrist earlier in the year, so he's just getting around to getting his timing now.
Well, it's funny you say that because when you look at the realm of injuries in different sports, baseball is one of those sports that a fingernail, a jammed finger, a wrist, anything like that can throw your whole timing right off. So good on him for getting back in the lineup and able to participate in the tournament. But no easy task coming back from any kind of wrist or hand injury. Ground ball looking for the middle, but Brandon Horn said, there is no middle. And he will take it himself. Sean Cleary out of the jam. No runs. No hits, 2 runners left aboard. We're going to slide on down to the home half when we come back after this.
To an ISC event? Then stop waiting. Check out our website or social media pages to see when the next event will be near you and come be a part of the experience.
Back here at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard for the Hallman Cubs against the Hallman Twins. Rough Riders versus Rough Riders, Joe. As we go through the batting order for the home team Twins, it'll be Tio Migliavaca to lead things off, followed by Brandon Horn. Derek Mason in the 3 spot. Steve Mullally bats cleanup. Ian Fairman is in the 5 hole. Ryan Boland bats 6th. Hayden Matthews, the DP, bats 7th. Jeff Novacek will be batting 8th, and Jonathan Lynch round out the 9. Defensively for the Cubs, Bob Gillow out in left, Alan Piquet in center, and Blake Underwood in right. Matty Lyon on the hot corner, Dan Mitchell at short, Adam Hiller playing a solid second base, Colin Walsh at first, and Juan Zara catching for Himio Mata. As we said off the top, it was Donnie Scott who was penciled in to do the pitching, but no surprise really as Mata steps in to take over the duties.
A lot of teams are doing that right now. It creates that alternative for you later on in the game to get Donnie Scott back in that game without hurting your lineup.
We were calling that the New Zealand Black Sox. Little trick where it just seems like the guy who's starting the game just doesn't seem to appear on that lineup until minutes before game time. So that's off to those guys. Good to see everyone else taking a page out of that book and utilizing it as Migliavaca steps in now for his first look at Mata. And Migliavaca with a big cut off that first pitch, wasting no time being aggressive, fouls that one out of play.
I see Jim Hallman in the crowd down there. So he kind of right in the middle, standing up behind home plate.
Well, at least he's in an impartial spot, right? He's going to stay right on the middle of the fence and try not to teeter one way or the other as Mata blows by a solid rise ball past the bat of Migliavaca. No balls and 2 strikes.
Migliavaca has great wheels. Cubs defense has to be sharp here.
And Mata going up the ladder. Run the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Modest pitching line so far in the tournament, 25 and a third innings, 13 hits, giving up 9 runs, 9 walks, and 32 strikeouts.
Impressive. And that's just what he's done in the circle. He already reeled off what he's done in the batter's box as that pitch flared up. And an easy play for Matty Lyon, and they're 1 away here in the bottom of the first. So a good start for Kimi Omada and the Cubs, and it will be Brandon Horn now, the second baseman, that will step in to face Mata. And can never say enough about Brandon Horn and his approach to, I could say his offense, but his defense as well. He is the consummate professional, doesn't swing at a lot of pitches out of the zone, usually mainstay, doesn't make very many errors. So he's definitely a professional ball player, so to speak.
Very tough out. Well, our umpires for today's game at the home plate, as we discussed, Ed Otterman from Woodstock, Ontario.
Rainy day.
First base, Robbie Duran from Illinois. And third base, John Hand, also from Illinois.
All right, that's enough. Get off Otterman's case, okay, about that.
I didn't say a word, but I'm sure that he...
All right, Ed, I got your back, okay? I'm sure he'd have a chuckle at that. Mata to Horn, swing and a miss. Not very often you see Brandon Horn swing at that first pitch, Joe. Maybe the scouting report is Mata likes to get ahead in the count and be aggressive. Took something off and missed upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. And of course, Mata's landing spot is going to be a little different than that of Sean Cleary. And I tell you, you better watch, because Sean Cleary is a master grounds person when he's in that circle. That landing pad has to be just the way he likes it, okay, or there will be issues. So we'll see how that plays out. Ground ball looking through the hole. Got a glove on it, did Hiller. Just enough to knock it down. And I don't know, with our tough score, that's probably going to be an error. I call that an infield hit.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, we'll go with that.
We'll see what the official scorekeeper does, and maybe a couple batters from now.
We'll see, but judging by last game, and if it's the same score, whew, tough. So Derek Mason now will step in. The big man, of course, has seen the World Tournament a number of years. And a good pickup for the Twins as he looks at a called strike. So first base runner of this game for the Hallman Twins in Brandon Horn. And we'll see with 1 away if Mason has any plans of doing anything beside trying to hit the ball hard somewhere. And that is, and what a hop it took. A bad hop to go through the hole on the right side. Horn all the way to third base. A single for Mason. And here come the Twins with something brewing here in the home half of the first.
Mason got that ball and just pulled that ball down the line, just in between these Colin Walsh and Adam Hillier.
Well, if you saw from our angle, we had a perfect vantage point. That first bounce skipped towards the right, towards the dugout, and the hole in which Walsh and Hiller were trying to close in. And boy, you talk about a seeing eye single. That's what that one had.
That's just one of the disadvantages of having a left-handed first baseman there.
Yeah, I think you're right, although I don't know if they really, either of them had much choice on that, Joe. That was a tough.
Would have had some good range there to go get that ball.
So Steve Mullally now will step in, and I don't know if Mullally's having the tournament he would like, but the issue with Steve Mullally is really don't give me much until late, as that one's lifted up, but settling under it is Pacare, and not enough to stop Brandon Horn from tagging up and scoring on the play. So Mullally picks up the sack and the RBI, and the Twins lead this one 1-0.
Good play by Picard to just throw that ball into second base and keep Derek Mason at first base. Picard was fairly deep.
So what we were saying about Mullally, he is a big game player, and usually when it's crunch time, he delivers. And a sac fly there to get his team on the board and open the scoring. Just what the doctor ordered, and it'll be Ian Fearman now that steps in with a runner on first and 2 away.
Fairman being one of the big bats here for the Twins. 3 for 14, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs.
Not bad for a guy that took a couple of years off and is back now here and wearing a familiar uniform, of course. I know between the Twins and Jarvis, not too far away, and Fearman, of course, a very impressive and lengthy career for a world-class ball player like himself, as the count 3 balls and no strikes. So Mata's struggling just a bit here, and I think the only knock or mention about Mata is that sometimes he gets a little frustrated as that pitch misses down. So a 4-pitch walk to Fearman. With 2 away, that will bring up the catcher, Ryan Boland. So you spoke about Cleary kind of flirting with danger. You've got Mata here doing the same thing.
Yes, the 2 hits here in this inning and now a walk. And 1 run already put on the board.
Well, it's a good hitting lineup, this Twins lineup. And Boland, of course, no stranger to heroics in international play as he looks at a pitch outside corner for a strike. There's Boland with the game-winning home run a couple of years back to win the World Championship. I'm sorry, that's Brother Shane.
Brother Shane got that one.
It's correct. I like you both, man. I like you both. Mom top notch. So my bad there. And Shane's probably sitting home going, man, lads, come on. Giving my brother that credit. You're right, Shane. It is all yours. Ryan looking to do a little something here. Behind in the count, though. No balls, 2 strikes to Mata. And reaches out, and it should be an easy play there for Mitchell, and it is. But not before the Twins strike for 1. They leave a couple runners aboard. 1-0. We played 1 complete back here on the ISC network.
Whatever your delivery requirements are across North America, Skelton Truck Lines provides you with reliable, safe, and high-quality service at a fair price. Skelton Truck Lines equipment is satellite tracked and delivers small parcel, less than truckload, and expedited shipments throughout Canada and the U.S. With over 50 years of experience and more than 50 trucks serving 4 divisions, Skelton Truck Lines is a thriving Ontario business and a proud fastball sponsor. Visit us online at skeltontruck.com. Thanks to Mike Skelton for supporting the broadcast program.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill on the grounds can't be beat. Reduced rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at ct16@greenbaynet.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program.
Back here at the yard, Lance Wynn, Joe Todd. Glad you've tuned in wherever you are. Across the country, across the globe, North America. No matter where you are, Joe Todd looks good. So hats off.
You're not bad either.
I appreciate that. That's why they don't show us in the booth, Joe. We'll just leave the viewers guessing, okay? So it'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters scheduled for the Cubs in Dan Mitchell, Bob Gillow, and Matt Lyon. Sean Cleary walked the first 2 batters, then struck out the next 2 batters and got a ground ball to Brandon Horn to end the inning in the threat.
Dan Mitchell had a home run in that New York Gremlins game last night.
So Mitchell is swinging a hot stick here. His first look at Cleary. And he looks at a called strike. Let's see if we see any differences with Cleary. Sometimes he tends to work a little quicker as the innings go. Not a lot quicker, a little quicker. But still equally as deliberate as he took something off. That was a beautiful change, just missed. And you can bet he wanted that pitch. Went for a Tyson Duncan walk. There he snaps that rise ball up, swung through for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dan Mitchell.
Back in that circle tap game on Tuesday when they took that loss, Shane Bolin struggled in both the first and second inning and then settled in, but just the 2 runs were too little too late.
Nibble outside, didn't get a bite. Did you just say Shane Bolin or Ryan Bolin?
I didn't say either.
Oh, okay.
I said Sean Cleary.
Oh, okay. All right. Just trying to pull you into the depths. Okay. Just trying to stay friends with Shane. That's all.
No.
Hard hit ball up the middle, base hit just over the ear of Cleary. So a hard hit single for Dan Mitchell. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Cubs. I tell you, Cleary leaned the wrong way about an inch. He may have taken that one between the eyes.
Dan Mitchell hit a nice rope right up the middle.
So Bob Gillow steps in now. Is he bunting, Joe?
No, not early in this game.
Okay. Is he stealing?
No. Not we're.
Oh, okay. Sure he's not. All right. Well, that's it. Right now, your managerial status is 50-50. You're on the middle of the fence, okay?
I think I've been fired from the Kruskin show.
You were already fired from that show. So Gillow did square the bunt. I only say that because Gillow's a veteran. He's an old school guy. So I'm not surprised that he squared on that. He may not do it again in the whole 0-1. And swings away, shoots one through the hole on the left side, base hit. So Bob Gillow comes through, shortens up the swing, punches one through the left side, and back-to-back hits now, and it'll be Matt Lyon that will step in with 2 aboard and nobody out.
Gillow going that other way, taking that pitch that Cleary offered to him.
So a good piece of hitting there, not trying to do too much with that. And if you can shoot it between Derek Mason and Ian Fearman, you better believe that that's classified as a legit hit, because those are 2 very good ball players there. As definitely squaring the bunt and getting a good one down was Matt Lyon, fielded by Mason over to Brandon Horn for the out. So 5-4, but it's a great sack from Lyon, the veteran, and runners advance, and it'll be Adam Hiller with a chance here to try and pull his team even or give them the lead.
Hiller's had a hot bat all week too, as being 5 for 11 with 2 RBIs. So coming out of that 8-hole, and you can bat around that 450 mark, that's a plus.
He's also played a solid second base. So Hiller having himself a heck of a World Tournament. This one's popped up. Will it stay in the diamond? And it does. So Steve Mullally with a big play there. A big out in Hiller. And now with 2 away, it's going to be back to the top of the shop in Alan Piquet. So you got to give Sean Cleary credit on that. That's a big play there here in this situation.
Gary in that big RBI spot right now.
So Sean Cleary back to work here. Piquet walked and stole a base, was left stranded at second, that in the first. Cleary misses that, and runner's going to come in. Flip to home in time. Well done, as Ryan Bolin got a great carom off the backstop. A perfect flip to Sean Cleary covering, and gunned down is Dan Mitchell to end the inning and the threat. So nothing doing after 2 hits. 1 left aboard. We're going to head to the home half of 2. 1-0 in favor of the Twins.
Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM, operating from the 6 nations of the Grand River Territory, is dedicated to the promotion of Indigenous culture, positive initiatives, language, and music to our youth. We offer a unique blend of top 40, hip-hop, R&B programming, and Indigenous music. You can count on Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM to help your voice be heard. Our interactive call-in shows feature locally produced news, sports, health, current affairs, and social issues. Unique programming with an Indigenous perspective. Listen live at jukasaradio.ca or download the Jukasa Radio app free from your app store.
Back to work here go the Hallman Twins after dodging a bullet in the top of the second with a runner on third and a wild pitch. Perfect flip from Boland to Cleary to slap on the tag and end the inning and the threat. So it'll be 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Twins in Hayden Matthews, Jeff Novacek, and Jonathan Lynch. So a bit of a roller coaster ride in the early goings. We've seen quite a bit here, Joe, and we're only in the bottom of the second. Big cut there from Matthews as he lifts that back up and out of play. Well, you see it go back out of play, but I don't see any ball players trying to protect anybody out there. Usually I see the ball players, they all scatter. You know, guys, just because you don't have a glove, you can knock it away or something.
Make sure somebody else doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. Jeez, every man for himself. Wow. The 0-2 to Matthews, and that goes off the mascot. We've seen some pitchers do that sometime, deliberately going way out of the strike zone and sort of looking down like, I don't know what happened on that one.
Just to create that uneasiness on the batter.
That's right.
I don't know where this ball's going.
He doesn't know where it's going. And goes back up the ladder again. I believe the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes here. But again, Joe, you know how shaky my counter is. It's very, very questionable. And Mata missing again. So maybe not feeling as comfortable as he was an inning ago. Or just familiar with Hayden Matthews and the damage that he can do if you make a mistake. Matthews is going to take time. Joe, you, of course, as a member of the ISC, is there any talk about possibly adding a pitch clock to the games? That ball's lifted up deep and going back, but making the play at the fence, and a good one out there was Bob Gillow. And Matthews put a charge in it, but Gillow right at the fence makes the grab to record the out.
No, nothing's ever been talked about at the Rules Committee at all on that 20-second clock. So far, anyway.
How about a safety bag? Any word? No.
No safety bag either.
Ball change color, maybe? No. Nothing doing there. All right. Just checking with you, Joe.
Right now, you're struck out. You're 0 for 3.
I am 0 for, man. Yeah, but I've been 0 for 3. I've been swinging at those same 3 pitches for the last 3-4 years, Joe.
But we keep bringing you back.
You keep bringing me back. Thanks very much. So I'm obviously not upsetting anyone too much. Although Blair Setford did list me as a special guest commentator, so maybe that's my punishment. So So Jeff Novacek now with some work to do in the count, no balls and a strike. Mata comes with one up near the letters. Looked like not a bad pitch. But Ed Otterman has the final say, and it's a 1-1 count. So hats off to Bob Gillow out there, making that grab right at the fence and saving a home run. Mata took something off and may have just missed. If he did, it wasn't by much, and the count 2-1.
Novacek's batted out that 8-hole all week for the Twins. Novacek 4 for 12, so he's comfortable down there.
Again, Mata comes back with that same pitch. This time it's in there for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that one tried to come back in. Mata wanted that call. And he's going to go for a little bit of a Fitbit stroll. Because, man, that looked like another good pitch. And you can see that Juan Zara just asking Ed Otterman where that pitch may have been. It's always a trick question. Mata comes back, this time missing down. So Mata, a little frustrated. Novacek works the walk. And with one away, it'll be the number 9 hitter in Jonathan Lynch.
Jonathan Lynch has really good wheels. Has a tendency to go more to the left side of the outfield when he does hit that ball fairly hard.
And he does, right at the shortstop and over to first in time for the double up. Outstanding play by Dan Mitchell. Hey, one good double play deserves another, and that will do it in a blink of an eye. No runs, no hits, and one man left aboard. We've played 2 complete, 1-0. Favor the Twins, back on the ISC network.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the Kitchener River Shark Twins repeat. Back-to-back Jets! It's the local kid who wins it.
Swing and a miss. Jarvis, 3-peats.
Adam Falter, absolutely. Here comes the throw to the plate. Are the world champions. 2015 ISC Men's World Champions.
Shane Bowen has hit the game-winning home run, and the Toronto Gators are world champions.
Fittingly, it's Adam on to first, and the 89 Chiefs back to the top of the mountain.
ISC Canada East, home of champions.
Back here at the Ball Yard in Kitchener, Ontario. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd. Thanks for fastening your seatbelt and riding along with us here as we are in the midst of the prelude to Championship Saturday. It's Elimination Friday. Just making that up, Joe. Elimination Friday. And it'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters in Walsh, Zara, and Mata. Scheduled hitters for the Cubs to face Sean Cleary. So both teams able to execute and pull off a double play. And that pitch from Cleary up and out of the zone. Walsh walked in the first and spent the rest of the inning standing on that very same base. That one from Cleary looked like a good one at the numbers, and looked like he got a nod from Ed Otterman but didn't get the call. So I think that Cleary would rather the call than the nod.
He'd rather have the right arm going up.
So 2 balls, no strikes, comes back, and that's in there for a called strike. I don't even know if Cleary saw that. The gesture was a bit late. 2 balls, 1 strike. And just fouled straight back. So the count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Walsh, having a couple of healthy hacks up there, Joe. Certainly looks comfortable in that batter's box.
Good quick hands there by Alan Piquet.
My apologies, it is Piquet and not Walsh. Piquet was up to bat when they managed to get Mitchell at home, and good speed, but not enough as Brandon Horn sits down Piquet.
Real slow grounder there, so Brandon Horn had nothing to do but charge that ball to get the speedy Piquet going down that line.
So 1 away now for Colin Walsh. And I said Piquet had walked and was left at first. He was walked and left at second, that in the first, and Walsh was the recipient of a walk and was stranded at that very same base. So had a notion on that rise ball, didn't chase, and the count 1 ball, no strikes. So 1 away and nobody aboard here for the Cubs, trailing by a run. And that ball lifted up and well out of play. One ball, 1 strike. So a good overcast day, and the overcast remains. As long as it's dry, it's perfect. Cleary back to work, snaps that one in there for a called strike. Sometimes Cleary's delivery and his motion is so fluid, Joe, it doesn't look nearly as fast until he snaps that wrist at the end. And that seems to put a little extra velocity on that ball.
That's what makes him hard to hit right there. He's very slow until he releases that ball, and it's the whipping action coming off the hands and the wrist.
That pop up handled easily by Horn at second base. Back-to-back plays to the all-star second baseman, and there are 2 away now for Juan Zara. Zara struck out in the first. One of only 2 strikeouts up to this point by Cleary. So after a short stint, Cleary's back to work with a called strike. I don't know, Joe. Sometimes did I have a birthday yet, or what's going on? Because boy, Cleary's been holding that pose for a while. So swing and a miss. Good pitch from Cleary. Those drop balls inside to righties, awfully tough to even get a piece of. Stick around, big game coming up. Hill United Chiefs, J&B Bombers. That ball grounded just out of the reach of Cleary, but Fairman over from short. The gun in time. 3 up, 3 down go the Cubs here in the top of the 3rd inning. We're going to mosey on down to the home half. 1-0 favor of the Twins.
A legendary pitcher. Unbreakable records.
That's got a mile. Goes a mile high to the wall, to the track. Say bye-bye baseball.
And that ball's lifted up and going back to left field. What a great grab. Off speed is deep, and you can get out of this ballpark.
5 Hall of Famers. 3 World Championships.
And that ball is driven out deep.
From Parker is driven deep. Shane Boland to the fence. It's gone. Shane Boland has hit the game-winning home run.
The Toronto Gators, gone but not forgotten.
Back to work here in the home half of the third inning. It'll be the top of the shop in Migliavaca, followed by Horn and then Derek Mason. The scheduled 3 hitters for the Hallman Twins here, as the Hallman Twins lead the Hallman Cubs 1-0 here at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard.
Sun is trying to break through.
That pitch in there for a strike. Migliavaca not too pleased with that, but at the same time, when you're moving and running out of that batter's box, awfully hard for you to decide if that's a strike or not.
Yeah.
So that's might be the reminder that Ed Otterman gave him. Stand still, man. No balls, 1 strike. Mata took something off, bunt attempt. Mata fields it. Throw in time. No, not in time. So a great bunt by Teo Migliavaca, as he will earn himself.
Fantastic bunt by Teo there going down that line. The only person able to field that ball would have been the pitcher, Hemu Mata. He did a good job getting off that mound, firing over to first base with the wheels of Migliavaca, putting a leadoff runner at first base now.
Migliavaca deadened that bunt beautifully. And like you said, Mata had to take that on the run. Squaring the bunt is Brandon Horn and pulling it back. 1 ball, no strikes. And are we playing some small ball, or is this a little bit of a ploy here? Migliavaca with good speed. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in motion.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to give the green light to Brandon Horn. I like this part of the order for the Twins.
So a good job of taking that pitch as well. Count 2 balls and no strike. And rarely will you get Brandon Horn to swing at something out of the strike zone. So you got to bring it a little closer to get him the chase. Of course, Horn singled and scored the game's only run. That in the first. Squares, gets a beauty down off the plate. Fielded by Matt Lyon. No play at first. So back-to-back bunt singles for the Hallman Twins. And they've got their 2 leadoff men aboard now for Derek Mason.
Well, what do you do now? Another bunt?
Well, I mean, you've got Derek Mason, who swings a good bat, and he was the one that had a solid single to move the runners along in the first. So 1 for 1, I'm going to give him at least a swing. And if I had the stats on his bunt ratio, I would make my decision based on that, as he squares and almost got a beauty down. So there you go, regardless of how big and how well he's hitting the ball. Derek Mason, a team player, though, Joe, and that's what you got to do in an elimination game. You got to do whatever it takes to try and get your team in the win column.
Well, one of my rules that when I was coaching 20 years ago was bunt till they do it right, you know.
Well, you know what? That was a good attempt. He just fouled back, spun back on him. We'll see if he's there to square again. Although Hemu Mata, not the easiest guy to bunt against either. And Mason, that in there for a strike, regardless of whether or not he went or not. So he's in the hole now, 0-2. He's going to have to do it the fun way if he's going to advance those runners.
Imagine Derek rather hit that ball anyway.
Based on the way he hit it in his previous at-bat, I'm sure that he'll go ripping here. And he does, just fouled that one off. So had a good, healthy hack at that one. And here's your situation for Mata. If you're Zara, you're calling for something out of the strike zone up 0-2. If you're Mata, you can't have something too far out of the strike zone that will get by your catcher and allow those runners to advance.
Got to be something low and outside.
As time is called on the play by Mason. So Mata's going to go back to work here and take the sign from Zara. And Mason left that one outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Twins with another opportunity here with a couple of men aboard and nobody out. Took something off, and Mason a rocket down to third by Matty Lyon. They call him hands down there at the hot corner with a great grab there, and you can see that he's trying to get the feeling back in his head as Mason with a laser beam right at Matty Lyon at third.
Great reaction down there by Lyon.
And I mean, they call third the hot corner. They don't call first the hot corner. Not sure why, but there's a prime example why, Joe.
Yes.
So Steve Mullally will step in. It was Mullally that hit the sac fly to cash in the only run of this ball game. So with 2 men on and 1 away, Mullally with a chance here to do some damage. And ground ball to middle field by Mata. He's going to go to 2 for 1 and over to 1 for none. So they get the force at second. And Horn is going to say they're not sure that Hiller touched the bag, but he certainly did. So on the fielder's choice, it goes 1-4. And it looks like standing. Looks like you got Migliavaca moves over to third. Horn is out, and you've got Mullally at first. And you see Don Scott warming up in the Cubs bullpen.
You're just wondering that last play there, if potentially Danny Mitchell could have got that ball instead of Hillier, he would have had straight through, a lot better angle going for that throw over to first base.
More than likely, you're absolutely right. And when a pitcher gets one hit right back to them, you're really looking for that shortstop because his momentum is coming towards first base and not away. So Ian Fearman now, who worked a walk in his only other at-bat, with his second look here at Himi Mata. So we'll see how short the leash is for Mata and the Cubs. Took something off. We say that. I mean, really, you look at it, and he's trailing by a run. Sure, there are runners on the corners, but there's still 2 away here and a chance to get out of this unscathed.
He's going to be really careful with Ian Fairman.
Well, I think he's been very deliberate with Fairman in his last at-bat, certainly, and I think it would be wise to do the same here. I think the last time they kind of skirted around him to get the ball in. And a healthy hack there from Fearman, and he wanted that pitch back. So the count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch took something off, driven out to center field on a line, but right there is Paquer to make the grab, and that will do it. So no runs, a couple of hits, and a couple of runners left aboard, dodging the bullets with the Cubs. 1-0 in favor of the Twins here on the ISC Network.
When you're in St. John's, Newfoundland, you're at home. And you're never more at home than when you're at Kelly's Pub, right on famous George Street. Traditional live music and some of the best fish and chips in the city are what you'll get at Kelly's. One of the top fastball sponsors in the country is right here in St. John's. Kelly's Pub, live music, great food, and friendly service. Right around the corner is 3 Cheers Pub, home of the 3-time Canadian national champions. 3 Cheers is downtown St. John's friendly pub. Affordable drinks and great staff with buckets all day, every day. 3 Cheers Pub is a proud fastball sponsor. Kelly's Pub and 3 Cheers Pub, come and make yourself at home.
For all your team uniform and equipment needs, fastball, slow pitch, and hockey, for players and teams, make sure you visit Corbett's Source for Sports on the South Service Road in Oakville, Ontario. There's a lot of deals to be had on all kinds of equipment. Thank you to Paul Hurd and Corbett's Source for Sports for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Getting a sign that we're back from Joe Todd here at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard in Kitchener, Ontario. Site of the 2018 ISC World Fastball Tournament. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd. For your tour guides here, as it will be the 4, 5, 6 hitters in the top of the fourth for the Hallman Cubs in Mata, Underwood, and Mitchell. Mata, of course, struck out in the first. So with his second look here at Sean Cleary. And you look at the line on Cleary, struggled a bit in the first inning, giving up a couple of leadoff walks, and then in the second gave up back-to-back singles, but managed to get out of it. And then it was a clean 1-2-3 inning in the third. So Cleary kind of following the norm and getting a little stronger each and every inning, and we'll see how he fares here against the meat of the Cubs order. Big swing and a miss. Mata wanted to launch that one, not sure, into the parking lot. Because the way he swung at that pitch.
Good call there by Ryan Boland. Just to throw the timing off. See what he comes back with here now.
Cleary zips in that rise ball, trying to catch a nibble there, and the count, I believe, is 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Cleary comes again, bouncer, and that's fair right to Mullally, and he'll do it himself. And Mata, I'm not sure if Mata was like, no, we need to do that one again.
He wants a mulligan there.
He wants a mulligan. They're not giving those out here. As Mullally just smiled, touched the base, and went on his merry way. One away here now for Blake Underwood. Underwood grounded into a fielder's choice in the first to end the inning. So second time through the order here. Cleary seems to have found a bit of rhythm. Snaps that one in there for a called strike. Just a reminder to our viewers, stick around. Hill United, J&B Bombers following this one.
The undefeated game at 7 o'clock. Circle Tap Dukes and the New York Gremlins.
So that should be a heck of a ball game there, Joe. Of course, the winner of that one advances directly to the finals. I believe the loser will drop down to meet one of the winners coming up. So you always like when things don't go the norm, as it's a slow roller. Cleary, backhand, first in time. So doing a good job of fielding his position, Mr. Sean Cleary. And that will bring up the shortstop, Dan Mitchell. Mitchell has hit the ball hard in his only other at-bat. That was the line drive single just over the ear of Cleary. Or, sorry, by the ear of Cleary.
I'm sure Ryan Boland and Sean Cleary both make mental notes of that one.
Well, you can bet Cleary remembers that very vividly as he goes back to work here and snaps that one in there for a strike. And you can tell between the chemistry between these two. They've obviously been a battery for a while, but you can tell when Cleary has thrown exactly what Boland wanted and where, based on the way Boland throws the ball back. You can see him, he just gets that in a rhythm and snaps it back. That tells you that's exactly where I wanted it, and do that again the next time I call for it.
Cleary's hit the mitt twice exactly where Boland wants it. Set both times setting up outside.
1-1. Rise ball upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. I think being careful to Mitchell is not such a bad idea, Joe.
Well, with Mitchell hitting that home run last night and then a single here this morning or this afternoon, he's on a little bit of a roll.
Clary missing with a rise ball. So the count 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 away here. And we'll see if Cleary continues to be cautious or if he goes right at Mitchell and challenges him here behind in the count 3-1. That one in there for a strike. So the count run full now. And something has to give. Cleary taking his time, very deliberate. And took something off. So a good job by Mitchell just to get a piece of that, Joe, and stay in there to see another pitch as he took that, I believe, off the foot.
Yes, he's taking his time now. Those hurt right off that ankle bone.
And there's nothing you can do. You can't say, time, can I get a little miracle spray and get all fixed up. You got to get right back in that box.
Ed Otterman, home plate umpire, doing his best to delay the process as best as he can, or as long as he can.
Just allowing him to shake that off, as you never know, Cleary might jump in there and quick pitch him, but that's highly unlikely. I like you, Sean. You know that. There comes swing and a miss. So Sean Cleary wins that battle. Sits down Dan Mitchell. Down go the Cubs, 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, and nobody left aboard. Headed to the home half of the 4th. 1-0 Twins. ISC.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Back to work here as our parental discussions continue between innings. Not really just me complaining, but anyhow. It'll be 6-7-8 for the Twins here in Boland, Matthews, and Novacek. And with just 1 run pushed across. Both teams have dodged a bullet or 2. More so the Cubs. So back to work with Boland, who popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. Took something off. That one's lifted up, and settling under it is Blake Underwood, and he makes the grab. 1 pitch and 1 out. So a good start if you are Himo Mata, as that will bring up Hayden Matthews, the designated player. And Matthews sent that ball high and deep to left field. And Bob Gillow, parked right at the fence, managed to haul it in and save a home run. So Mata going to have to take note of that and make an adjustment, and he does with a strike.
Hallman Twins would love to add an insurance run in there. Get some cushion on that lead.
Awfully stressful to win 1-0, Joe, I tell you that. So we'll see here if they can do their best to add to their total. There's one away here, and Matthews, though, has the potential to do that with one swing of the bat, and that was a good cut there, but fouled back and over the backstop. Mata taking some extra time getting the signs from Zara. And a good changeup, cue ball, foul. So a good time for that, Joe, to pull that changeup out of the hat.
Well, when you can throw that changeup for a strike, that's the important part of that whole pitch.
And this one poured inside corner. No argument from Matthews. Turn that K the other way, grab a little pine, and send up Jeff Novacek, the right fielder, who reached base on a walk in the second.
Just the first strikeout for Hallman Mata here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
And that's a very odd stat, Joe. You don't usually see that. But as Mata creates his own little career here, he's going to have to understand, a little different than coming from the junior ranks where he was extremely dominant, to now where you're playing with the big boys and men where you're going to have to rely on your defense a lot of the time, and you're going to have to yield and give way to going with the ground ball as opposed to the strikeout. And I'm sure those are things and adjustments that he'll be able to make as we look forward to following him through his fastball career. That pitch nibbled inside.
Nice location.
Good eye from Novacek. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 away here. And nobody aboard. The ball is lifted up high and deep, and you can get out of this ballpark right now. Jeff Novacek puts a charge in one. It's a towering drive, a solo shot, and it's 2-0 for the Twins.
That ball went up in the air. First of all, I didn't think it was going out, but then we look at the flags out in the just above the beer tent, the wind blowing that way, so wind-assisted home run there.
You're a cold individual, Joe. Wind assisted. Wow. I was going to say that thing almost brought rain, for crying out loud. You're talking about it's wind assisted. That's it, Novacek. You give Joe a call, all right?
I'll buy Jeff a drink in the bar.
So a clutch 2-out home run from Jeff Novacek has increased the Twins' lead, exactly what you suggested would be a good idea. And now it's Jonathan Lynch, the number 9 hitter, with 2 away here. Shuffled his feet just a bit and looked at a called strike. Want to be there when you tell Novacek it was wind aided. That pitch from Mata, missing down, run the count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's see if Himo can bounce back here, Joe, and keep his composure. We've seen games where pitcher's cruising along and gives up a hit, and then all of a sudden one hit leads to another, and before you know it, a walk thrown in, and what turned out to be, what started as a harmless inning now appears to be your downfall, and you've got to hit the dugout. So we'll see here if Mata, if he can get this out here. As Don Scott's still working, that ball's lifted up, maybe wind aided, but not, as Underwood has to wait a day and a half for it to come down, but it does. A deep fly ball to end this inning, but not before a deep fly ball gives the Twins a 2-0 lead. Back here for our slide to 5 after this on the ISC Network.
If a man runs for president, interviews for a high-level job, or needs a good table at a smart restaurant, chances are he'll be wearing a suit. Mr. Ned is your custom tailor in New York City. Located at 137 5th Avenue, we provide our clients with the highest quality custom suits at affordable pricing. Our range of fabrics is second to none and will fit the needs of any well-dressed professional. Whether it be everyday business attire or a special occasion, we have the ability to make you a man of distinction. Visit the store at 137 5th Avenue in New York or see us online at mrnednyc.com. We thank Mr. Ned and Var Matosian for generously supporting the broadcast program.
All set for our slide to 5 here, as it will be the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Hallman Cubs with some work to do, trailing by 2 runs. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd here keeping you hopefully entertained. Anyway, these guys out on the diamond sure are. As Cleary starting off with a changeup. First time we've seen that in this ball game, and Gillo took it for a ball. Gillo's had himself a solid ball game so far. Good catch at the fence, an outstanding bunt, and that ball's lifted out deep. Gillo, and tracking it and making a nice grab out there was Jonathan Lynch, who almost overran it. So Gillo put a little wood on it, and to no avail as it stays in the park, and Lynch records the out for the Hallman Twins.
Don Scott taking some warm-up pitches down in the right field line for the Cubs. Ready if called upon.
He's been warming up for a while, so I'm sure he's good to go. Don Scott doesn't take a whole lot of time to warm up, Joe. That pitch to Matt Lyon in there for a strike. Matt Lyon with an outstanding sacrifice bunt to advance the runners in the second. That, of course, being his only at bat. As Sean Cleary has mowed him down since then. Facing the minimum batter since the second inning. Took something off, swung through, and that'll be strike 2 to Matt Lyon, who has a little chuckle about possibly being able to swing twice at that same pitch.
If he swung twice, would that be 2 strikes?
You got it, Joe. And down he goes. So Cleary and Boland combined to sit down Lyon. And a good pitch, and that will bring up the number 9 hitter in Adam Hiller.
Just 4 strikeouts for Sean Cleary here in the 5th inning.
And I think Cleary, again, this has fallen to the norm with him, where he's a notorious slow starter, struggles in the early innings, but as they go along, he seems to find his groove, and he is at his groove right now. Wanted that pitch on the inside corner. Hiller's looking down like no. Boland and Cleary are saying yes, and Ed Otterman says no, and that's the final say. That in there for a called strike. May have been a little low, but Boland did a good job to bring that up. And the count even now, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cleary is now retired. The last 10 batters defensively.
To send a shout out to Hank the Wild, hanging around the ballpark. Always good to have top-notch ISC guys right on the line. Mullally tiptoe over the base, and he does it himself. A 1-2-3 inning. So down go the Cubs. No runs, no hits, and nobody left the board. We will continue to slide to 5 when we come back.
Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjack Sports and Exit Speed Swing. Focusing on exceptional quality and providing players with reliable, long-lasting product, Lumberjack Sports brings you in-game equipment and off-field workout gear, designed and tested by top fastball player Nick Shales. Learn the 6 steps to the perfect swing and how the Exit Speed Swing developer can make it even better. Get more power from your swing and improve your game with Exit Speed Swing as Team Canada Junior Men's head coach Jeff Ellsworth walks you through hitting drills and training tips. Hard work, strength, and all-around commitment to getting the job done and done right is the motto for Lumberjack Sports and Exit Speed Swing. Learn from the best. Play like the best. Check out lumberjacksports.ca and exitspeedswing.com to put your game over the top.
Back here at the yard, new pitcher for the Hallman Cubs, and I say new pitcher meaning in this game, certainly not a new pitcher to the Kitchener lineup, and Don Scott, the hard-throwing right-hander. And Joe, what do we know? What's the book on Mr. Scott?
Donnie Scott throws really hard, got a great drop and a rise. The curve to the left-handed batter is really good.
So there's a veteran who has been around and then some, and Don Scott, a marvel at still being able to have the velocity that he has here, and to continue to play this long at this level is an unbelievable feat in itself. So, Don Scott, you are the envy of many, and it will be the top of the shop for the Twins and Migliavaca, Horn, and Mason. Migliavaca 1 for 2. Big rip there, swings through that one. So the good thing for the Twins, though, Joe, is not a whole lot of adjustments to be made velocity-wise between Mata and Don Scott. I'd say Mata may have a few more variations, but that ball laced out to left field for a base hit. So Migliavaca all over that pitch with a leadoff single. And the Twins now with a runner aboard. That's what I was saying, Joe. So not a whole big adjustment as far as velocity-wise for these hitters.
Not really. They both have the same arsenal there. If anything, Don Scott might be a notch slower, I believe.
So in steps Brandon Horn, who got that bunt down and touched him, but I believe he was still within the batter's box there. And it was Brandon Horn that, of course, had an infield hit, scored a run in the first, had a beautiful bunt single in the third, but was left stranded at first. So 2 for 2 Brandon Horn here, squared again, knowing the importance of that run. And does the same as that pitch fouled back. Again, no easy task to get one down on Mata. Definitely not easy to get one down on Don Scott. When he comes with that rise ball, it's awfully tough to dampen the velocity and still be able to control it to get it down onto the ground.
Great movement by the balance of the infielders by the Cubs.
Horn took something off, slow roller, Hiller in, toss over to first just in time. So Horn gets the job done on the 4-3 putout. That will advance Migliavaca to second base, and with the meat of the order up, it'll be Derek Mason now who steps in. 1 for 2, and his out in the third was a line drive rocket to Matty Lyon at third. So that, of course, was against Mata. Now he will get his first look at Donnie Scott. Big rip there. And Joe, when you look at the way these experienced hitters are dug in deep against Don Scott, they know that he doesn't necessarily have a change. He's going to come up or he's going to come down with good velocity. These guys are right on it. There's no fear here as they are taking good, healthy cuts at his pitches.
They made mental notes for along the years that you had talked about his time on the mound. So
that ball's flared out to left field, base hit. Horn Migliavaca never broke stride. He comes in to score. RBI single for Mason. And it's 3-0 now for the Twins.
That's a big run put up there by the Twins here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, you talk about insurance, Joe, and that was a big run, a manufactured run. That's the way you do it. You get a leadoff hit, you move him over on a ground ball, and then you cash him in with a base hit. And it'll be Steve Mullally now that steps in, and Mullally could put a charge into one in a hurry and had a big, huge act there, as that's exactly what he was trying to do. But these are the situations where here comes number 33 along, and you're down and you're on one knee, and here he comes and just steps on you and just finishes the job. And certainly, again, no fear in there in that batter's box against Don Scott. These guys very familiar with the right-hander. Again, a good healthy cut from Mullally. And almost a fine catch there.
Steve would probably tell you, he'd be the first one to tell you that he struggled this week, but you just wonder when he's going to break out.
Well, and that's the thing with Mullally. We've seen him struggle all week, but then in the last 2 days, he is a man on a mission, and you can't get the guy out. So we've seen that. And if you talk about Sean Cleary being a bit of a notorious slow starter, Steve Mullally I would put in a similar category. You know, when he wakes up, it's loud and proud. As we take a look at the matchup for the next game, it'll be Pablo Migliavaca and Devin McCullough, the 2 scheduled starters for the Hill United Chiefs and the J&B Bombers. Donnie Scott, that one's flared up by Matt Lyon, calls for it, and a pop-up for the second out. So Mullally's struggles continue, and that'll bring up the shortstop Ian Fearman. Fearman walked and flied out in the 3rd. And I say struggles, Mullally, you know I like you. Don't take any offense to that. Not that he wouldn't say anyway. He certainly sets the bar higher for himself than anybody. Fearman to work here against Scott, and these guys certainly are very familiar with each other, Joe, being, of course, played on the same team and, of course, against each other for a number of years.
Both veterans of the game.
And Donnie Scott outside corner. No argument there. Fearman shakes his head. He's behind in the count 0-2.
It'll be interesting to see if he stays on that outside corner. I wouldn't go anywhere near the hands of Fearman.
No, I would leave it just where it is. And if you can get lucky and force him to swing the bat like that, I think you've accomplished the goal. But, you know, a number of years people have sat back and went, oh, well, if Don Scott had a change, he would be pretty effective. Well, Don Scott without a change has been pretty effective. So I think that argument is lost now. So a long stroll, but the count remains 0-2 to Ian Fearman. And that one laced out just over the head of Hiller for a base hit. Rounding second and into third is Mason. So a 2-out single for Ian Fearman, his first hit of the ball game. And that will bring up Ryan Boland, the catcher. So some good base running from Derek Mason, who was on the go. And now if Boland can deliver a hit here, this could be the dagger, Joe. I know we're only in the 5th, but Sean Cleary's awfully tough, and he's rested now.
Scott has to make sure in this Cub infield. Keep
that ball lined out to the gap in right center. Won't find its way to the wall. One run will come in to score. They'll hold up Fearman at third. An RBI single from Ryan Boland, and it's 4-0 for the Twins.
Big clutch hit there by Ryan Boland.
So you talk about timely hitting. That's what good teams do.
4 singles this inning for the Twins.
4 singles and 3 runs pushed across. So talk about producing at the right time, and it'll be Hayden Matthews now, working on an 0 for 2 ball game, but has hit the ball hard, at least in the second inning. Got caught looking in the fourth.
Gonzalo Masmu now running at first base for Ryan Bolin.
So Masmu, of course, adds a little bit more speed. And understanding the value of another run here. I mean, you give Cleary a 2-run lead, and you're putting him in a good position to win. You give him 4 runs, and
the task gets
farther and
farther.
It sure does. You might as well climb a mountain. That pitch hits the backstop. Fierman didn't even move off third, but Massimo advances to second on the wild pitch. So 2 ducks there for Hayden Matthews with 2 away, and it seems like there's been 2 away for a while, Joe, as the first 2 hitters, one was a flyout, the other a strikeout. Then it was a home run. I'm sorry, I'm an inning behind. I'm not sure what scoreboard I'm looking at. That would be a leadoff single, ground out, RBI single, pop out, single, single. All right, we're on the same page now. Quit trying to get me confused, Joe.
Yeah.
No, that ain't hard. So that pitch missing in. So Matthews works a walk. Don Scott upset visibly. And now the bags are full here for Jeff Novacek, and all he's done is walked and homered. So right man, potentially right spot, right time. We'll see here if he can break this one wide open with the Twins leading 4-0. Up there, Hackett fouls that one out of play.
Just going to get his cuts in. Doesn't get cheated at that plate.
So this 2-out rally continues. Don Scott trying to stop the bleeding here. That ball lifted out to right, but tailing and making a great recovery out there was Underwood. Initially he went back, wasn't hit as hard as he thought. Tailing away makes a diving catch to preserve this 4-run deficit. But again, it's the Twins that strike. They lead this one 4-0.
To an ISC event? Then stop waiting. Check out our website or social media pages to see when the next event will be near you and come be a part of the experience.
Back here for the top of the 6th inning. The Cubs down to their final 6 outs here. And Sean Cleary has mowed them down, struggled in the early going. Gave up a couple of walks in the first and bounced back with a couple of strikeouts. Gave up a couple of leadoff hits in the second. But then in the third was clean, 1, 2, 3. Fourth, clean, 1, 2, 3. And the fifth, clean, 1, 2, 3. And a big swing and a miss for Alan Paquer, the leadoff hitter, who walked and grounded out. So an 0-for-1 ball game here for Paquer. And Sean Cleary, Joe, has gotten better as this game has gone along.
We had talked about that early in the game. 10 consecutive batters now that Cleary has put down.
So a good rise ball there that Paquer.
Haven't seen a base runner since the second inning.
Pretty quiet out on those base paths when the Cubs have been up to bat, for sure. 0-2 count. And Cleary nibbled outside. And I like the way Bolin jumped up and snapped up, but there's no one on base there, right? Looked good, though. I love it.
Practicing.
Just practicing. Not the game, just talking about practice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Cleary working just a little bit quicker. And took something off. Paquer is going to reach first base. Good speed. So that's tough when you got that strikeout. But the runner manages to reach base anyway. And that will bring up the number 2 hitter in Colin Walsh. So the string of 10 in a row retired has been snapped. Unfairly so, since that was recorded as a strikeout. So tough on Cleary that way. But I think if he can get a ground ball here and maybe double it up, I'm pretty sure he'll let that one slide.
I think Ryan Bolin got that last pitch right off the thumb.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the case. Apparently not the first time today he's taken one off the thumb. Cleary took something off, hard ball to ground ball. Third, Mason on the run in time. And that was a beautiful play to gun down the lead runner. And man, oh man, great play from Derek Mason to go 5-4 on the putout.
Great authoritative call there made by third base umpire John Hand at the second base position.
So Paquer is gunned down. 1 away now for Juan Zara. Zara 0-for-2 with a strikeout. And that's the kind of D you need, Joe. If you want to contend for a world championship here, you have to have that kind of defense behind you.
John Cleary just with 5 strikeouts, but the Cubs only with 2 hits so far in this game too. So the defense has really assisted John Cleary.
So the numbers don't lie, Joe. You're absolutely right. Cleary bounces that one in, and Walsh is going to take liberties and advance over to second base. So the third time in this ball game, they've got a runner in scoring position, but they have yet to be able to cash on either opportunity. We'll see here if the case holds here or if things are a little different. You got to figure, Joe, you got to get something here in the 6th. To expect to get 4 off Sean Cleary in the 7th, you might as well move that mountain and put it on your back and carry it somewhere.
Paint it green, too.
That's right. While you're at it. Get the painted green. You are right. So we'll see here. Cleary back to work, snaps that in, swing and a miss. That's that good drop ball inside to righties. And he's had some good success with that here in this ball game. The count 1 ball, 2 strikes to Zara. Cleary, rise ball out of the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Wind has picked up out there.
It has. We'll see if it's a factor. Cleary missing down. We don't want any more of those win-aided home runs, Joe. Well, that 480-foot shot was win-aided. Forget the fact that it was about 800 feet high, too.
He had to come down
Well,
sometime.
they just squeaked that one out. They had to stop the game in the next diving. Didn't get all of that, though, as that pitch is fouled back on a play. Ooh, you are tough to please, Joe Todd. I tell you, man. I don't know what you got to do to get on your good side. Whew. So Wanzar has seen a lot of pitches here as the count is full. Runner on second base. And that would go a long way to at least giving these Cubs some confidence here. Ground ball to short. Fearman over to first in time. So routine for Ian Fearman. And there are 2 away now for the designated player, Himio Mata. So if ever they were going to get something out of Mata, now is probably a really good time, Joe. Potentially his last at bat of this tournament. So it'll be interesting to see here, and maybe Ryan Bolin is going out just to, no, I thought he might just remind Sean Cleary, but Cleary doesn't need any reminder. Sure, he's
they're going to be very
first.
careful with him. Obviously, with 2 out and first base open.
Despite being 0 for 2 with a strikeout, Mata, of course, always a home run threat. Has a couple here in this World Tournament and would love one now as he took a hit there. That's a base hit and had to hold up and does as that ball was hit hard. And Colin Walsh didn't get a very good jump off of second base. Had he probably would have scored on the play. Instead, he's held up at third.
Probably a good play because you need more than that run.
Well, that's true, and at the same time, it was a good job out there by Novacek to charge that ball and get it in. But as far as I'm concerned, Joe, there's 2 away. You're moving on the pitch. There should have been no hesitation. You're going. So, no offense to you, my friend Colin Walsh, but just one man's opinion. As Cleary back to work and couldn't hold up. We'll see if they appeal down to see if he swung or not. And Ed Otterman will check for some assistance. And yes, he did. So Underwood swings through on the pitch. But in the pass ball, and in between time, you got Mata advancing to second. So now a hit here could bring in a couple runs and cut that deficit in half. So a big at bat here, Joe, for Underwood.
Oh, if he just punches one on the grass, that's all you're looking for, and get something on a roll.
If he's able to do that, it'll certainly make the coaching staff for the Cubs look very, very good. Not that they held him up and shouldn't have. I think he would have been DOA based on jump as Cleary comes back with a rise ball that's in there for a called strike. So no balls and 2 strikes. 2 away here. We're in the top of the 6th inning. 4-0 ball game in favor of the Twins. Cubs threatening here with 2 men aboard. They need a clutch hit here from Blake Underwood to rattle a cage or 2. And he fouls that one hard off the fence on the right side. So the count remains 0-2. Underwood with a lot of work to do here if he's going to be successful against Cleary. And Cleary comes with a rise ball just above the numbers, apparently. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joe, you surprised that was a pretty good 0-2 pitch?
Yeah, he wanted to give him a little bit of a tease. It was a little high in that strike zone, but Sean's trying to end this inning and try and stay as close as he can and get that K to end the game.
Back to work, swing and a miss. So down goes Underwood. A timely strikeout for Sean Cleary. No runs. No hits. Sorry, 1 hit and 2 men left aboard. We are going down to the home half of the 6th, Joe, when we come back here on the ISC Network.
Whatever your delivery requirements are across North America, Skelton Truck Lines provides you with reliable, safe, and high-quality service at a fair price. Skelton Truck Lines equipment is satellite tracked and delivers small parcel, less than truckload, and expedited shipments throughout Canada and the U.S. With over 50 years of experience and more than 50 trucks serving 4 divisions, Skelton Truck Lines is a thriving Ontario business and a proud fastball sponsor. Visit us online at skeltontruck.com. Thanks to Mike Skelton for supporting the broadcast program.
Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM, operating from the 6 nations of the Grand River Territory, is dedicated to the promotion of Indigenous culture, positive initiatives, language, and music to our youth. We offer a unique blend of top 40, hip-hop, R&B programming, and Indigenous music. You can count on Jukasa Radio 93.5 FM to help your voice be heard. Our interactive call-in shows feature locally produced news, sports, health, current affairs, and social issues. Unique programming with an Indigenous perspective. Listen live at jukasaradio.ca or download the Jukasa Radio app free from your app store.
Back here all set for the bottom of the 6th inning. Donnie Scott came in relief of Himi Omata. And it'll be the 9-1-2 hitters scheduled for the Twins in Jonathan Lynch. And back to the top in Teo Migliavaca and Brandon Horn. So Lynch hit into a double play in the 2nd and flied out in the 4th inning. So 0 for 2. But his team right now is on the right end of the scoreboard, and I'm sure that's all that he's really concerned about.
Cubs want a real quick inning defensively so they can get back in and swing some bats.
I think that's what you want if you are going to build any kind of momentum and expect to push 4 runs across against a world-class pitcher like Sean Cleary. You're going to need a little something. As that one just got a piece of it and fouled it off.
Jonathan Lynch kind of recreating that swing that he just done. Just make sure he doesn't do it again.
You got to remind yourself to swing right through. Keep it level. And don't be indecisive about it. There's a better swing, and that one's up and will drift just over the backstop. No balls and 2 strikes, and I hate to say it, Joe, but it looks like some ominous clouds have kind of bunched together here, but hopefully they're pushing to our left and keep pushing that way.
They've been around all week, but
I've seen you dodge those raindrops anyway. Slick,
yeah.
So change up, 2 hopper to 2nd, Hiller over to 1st in time. So Lynch is down with a ground ball, and that will take us back to the top of the shop in Teo Migliavaca. Migliavaca popped out to the 3rd baseman in the 1st. Beautiful bunt single in the 3rd, and singled and scored a run in the 5th. So a 2 for 3 ball game, and I think just what the doctor ordered from your leadoff man, Joe.
Real good leadoff batter. He's got great wheels. Covers a lot of territory out in center field defensively.
Looks at a called strike from Don Scott on the outside corner. And that one is bunted up just at the top of the screen there. I saw you diving for that, Joe. Don't even try to pretend. I caught you out of the corner of my good eye.
Yeah.
No balls and 2 strikes, the count here to Migliavaca. Guys with world-class experience like Migliavaca don't worry about batting with 2 strikes. And that ball laced hard through the hole on the left side, base hit. So case in point, Migliavaca stays hot, 3rd hit of the ball game. And with 1 away, that'll bring up Brandon Horn.
Twins are hoping Migliavaca carries that strong bat over to that next game.
Well, they're probably hoping for that and more when you think about what it's going to take to advance. Some real roadblocks in the way as that ball, Brandon Horn, lined out to center field. Back-to-back hits, holding up is Migliavaca at second base. So Don Scott not fooling these cagey veterans. And Migliavaca and Brandon Horn with 2 solid singles, and they're 2 men aboard with 1 away for Derek Mason. And doesn't get any easier, Joe. This is a guy who's singled in the first, had a line drive rocket caught at third in the third, and then had an RBI single in the 5th.
That top trio of the Twins lineup done a great job.
Challenged him right there to Don Scott, a swing and a miss for Mason. And there hasn't been one guy that has seen Don Scott that hasn't taken a good, healthy rip at that first pitch, knowing that Don Scott likes to work on top. Comes back, that's up, and not in the jet stream. Settling under it is Piquet. Runner looking to tag, good bluff from Migliavaca. But he was going nowhere, and there are 2 away on a deep fly ball from Mason. So Steve Mullally steps in now, and Mullally 0 for 3 with an RBI. And these are the times when Mullally steps up and hits a 3-run shot and demoralizes the team he's playing against. So we'll see here. I thought he had a better at-bat in his last at-bat than the 2 previous to that.
Yes, he has. So we'll see if that can carry over.
And he usually likes some good velocity. That's where he thrives. And took a big rip at that one right there. And once again, Don Scott likes to come at you with that first pitch, and these hitters are on it and taking their hacks.
Going to be interesting to see what Scott comes back with here now. He stays off the outside corner of the plate.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch from Donnie Scott. Looked like there was some tailing action on that rise ball.
That rise ball. Mullally just lacking a little bit of confidence right now.
Well, and Mullally notorious for chasing the rise ball, of course. That part of the scouting report. Problem is, if you don't get a perfect rise ball, it ends up rising the other way over the fence. And tried to come back hard and in, did Scott.
Great location.
Perfect spot to miss. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 2 away here, 2 men aboard for the Twins, leading 4-0. Steve Mullally at the dish. And it's just got a piece of that to stay alive, did Mullally. I believe Mullally and his lovely wife expecting their first child soon, so there'll be another ball player ushered into this world sooner rather than later, so congratulations to both of them. So back to work, number 33. Took something off, ground ball to third, Madeline, easy play. He will touch third and do it himself. And that will do it for the Twins. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left aboard. Last chance here for the Cubs when we come back with the top of the 7th here on the ISC Network. Back here for the top of the 7th inning. It'll be 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Hallman Cubs, trailing the Hallman Twins 4-0. And Peter Hallman, I'm sure, is happy no matter what the outcome.
Jim Hallman.
Sorry, Jim. Peter, Jim, yes, Peter's place, and Jim's the man. Got it. My error there. Thanks for the correction, Joe. So Dan Mitchell, Bob Gillow, and Matt Lyon represent the last hope here for the Cubs, facing Sean Cleary and the Twins. And Cleary back to work here. First pitch missing just outside. So despite the clouds, the crowd's still coming in and enjoying some great fastball here. Took something off and climbed that ladder, did Cleary. And
great rise ball.
Mitchell swings through for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mitchell 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout.
He beat Mitchell fairly convincingly back in that 4th inning with that rise ball.
He did. He overpowered him. We'll see if he does a setup and then goes back at it. That looked like a pretty good pitch. But Ed Otterman disagrees. And of course, you always know when Sean Cleary isn't. He never overreacts. Yeah. But you definitely know when he's not happy with your call.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want to embarrass you or anything, but I'm not happy with that.
Those 3 extra steps.
That's right. That's right. And that one in there for a called strike. I don't know about your steps, Joe. You in on that Fitbit or what's going on? 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Cleary comes back, missing well outside. So the count run full, 3-2. Sometimes that last inning is always the most stressful. Getting those final 3 outs, Joe,
you want to get that first one. That just sets the defense in the psychological mode.
That's the key there. And that pitch, good hack from Mitchell. But he was way out in front of that pitch. And the count will remain full, 3-2. Stick around, a little behind schedule here if you've tuned in for the 4 o'clock game. We are still in the midst of the 2 o'clocker. 4 o'clock, of course, J&B Bombers and the Hill United Chiefs. Took something off, and a good time for that. Cleary picks up the strikeout. And you're right, Joe. That was very timely and pivotal when you talk about trying to close this one out.
Real good sequence of pitches there called by Ryan Bolin.
So Bob Gillow steps in now, singled and flied out in the 5th. And Cleary bounces that one in there for a ball. Cleary, deliberate, back to work. And that one in there for a strike. Clearly Gillow was taking it all the way, and the count even now 1 ball, 1 strike. Clear again. Gillow lifts that one up. Fearman rushes it. It's in no man's land, but a collision out there as communication not. Gillow never stopped, and he'll end up at third base. It looks like Migliavaca, and I'm not sure if that's Brandon Horn out there.
I think it was Brandon.
As they both came a long way and converged right in shallow left center. And for guys that have been playing a long time, we can sit here, Joe, and say, well, someone should have called that ball a while ago. But that really was hit in no man's land. And sometimes when your adrenaline's going and you're charging for that ball, you're not listening for anyone. You're focused on catching that ball. And you can see how far Brandon Horn would have come all the way from second base to try and get that ball, and for him to collide with Migliavaca, the center fielder.
Well, it's Brandon's job to go out and get it, and he's to stay with that ball till that center fielder calls him off.
Well, you're right about that, Joe, but when you look at it, that ball is almost directly over second base. Are you going with your second baseman or your shortstop? And Fearman was definitely out there.
Well, Fearman in that type of play, Horn was there. I think Fearman almost has to act like the quarterback there and start calling it.
And that's, I was just going to say the same thing. That, so I mean, do we score Gillow with a triple? I guess we have to.
I think you have to, I believe.
There was no one touched that. So a 1-0 triple for Bob Gillow, his second hit of the ball game. Looks like Migliavaca's okay and Brandon Horn's okay. And you're right, I probably would have liked to see Fearman direct traffic at some point in time. But again, he's going for the ball as well. So, but you're the shortstop, you're the quarterback, you're in charge until you hear that fielder call you off.
The people up the middle run the game.
So we'll have a pinch hitter for Matt Lyon. It'll be Diego Rodriguez that comes in for his first swing of the bat. So everyone's okay, no damage done, with the exception of maybe some bruised egos. But other than that, one away, runner on third base. In a 4-0 ball game, we're here in the top of the 7th. Cleary comes, splits the plate, in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back to work goes Cleary. Took something off, and a good healthy hack at that by Rodriguez. But that may be the sweetest pitch that he sees, Joe. He's probably not going to get another one like that again.
Yeah, he's probably going to be conversed with a few more rise balls right now.
Up in the count 1 and 2. I think he's going to get a steady diet of at least 2 pitches that may be tempting but not too sweet. And a nibble on the corner. Down goes Rodriguez. Turn that K the other way for Cleary. Second strikeout of this inning. And it'll be left up to the number 9 hitter in Adam Hiller, representing the last chance here for the Cubs. Trailing by 4. Runner on third base. So their first run just 60 feet away. Cleary came with a changeup first pitch. Took something off. A bit of a surprise there.
8 strikeout for Cleary in the game so far.
He's quietly put together an outstanding performance despite a bit of a rocky start. Comes back with a strike outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tough when you see that 60K changeup, and then he comes back with that 90K fastball. Again, tried to go inside, missing. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Good spot to miss at, though.
Looks like the rain may be coming, Joe, judging by the way some of the fans have moved out, but maybe that was just a selected few. Everyone seems pretty content where they're at. And a swing and a miss on a good rise ball. So the Cubs now down to their final strike.
Nice level swing there by Adam Hiller.
Cleary trying to close the door. Trying to keep his team alive here. There will be 1 representative to advance from Kitchener. Took something off, and down he goes. So Sean Cleary, fittingly, ends the ball game with a strikeout. His 9th of the ball game, and that will do it as the Hallman Twins beat the Hallman Cubs 4-0 to final. And Joe, just some of your final thoughts about this ball game.
Well, I thought that was the best hitting performance by the Hallman Twins this week, so maybe they're peaking up at the right time.
So there you have it, a 4-0 win. Stick around. It's the J&B Bombers, the Hill United Chiefs. More action following that, including the undefeated game, the New York Gremlins taking on the Circle Tap Dukes. I'm Lance Wynn. He's Joe Todd. Thanks for joining us. Stick around. We'll be back on the flip side.